Hey everybody, I'm just continuing my walk today, doing some postseason scouting, and I'm going to head into another little Hinge-Cut bedding area. Man, you can see what it's like when you're a winter yarding ground in Minnesota, because the deer are all over this property at night. It's just crazy. We had snow probably 4 days ago, and they have clearly been up here quite a bit. Should be a fun shed season again. So yeah, dipping back into some of my kind of the fall bedding areas here, seeing how they got used in the fall, doing a little scouting. One of the best times. A lot of guys, one of the big habitat gurus, hunters, say the best time to scout is right when the season's done, because that's when the freshest sign is there, and you can see how the deer used certain areas during the hunting season. So trying to get in as soon as possible here and check these areas out. Also, like, I would never go determine our deer numbers based on what I'm seeing right now, because I call it, it's fool's gold this time of year, the deer sign, because they're yarding on us. So we are getting deer from miles around. So if I looked at my cameras, up to last year I counted up to 200 deer on a given night, and there's no way we have those kinds of numbers during the fall. We have good deer numbers, but I wouldn't start pounding those based on that, what I'm seeing late season, because deer yard up in Minnesota in the winter, and we just happen to be a winter yarding ground because we have great food and lots of, the more woody stems I put on the ground, the more the deer like to hang out on ours. So anyway, back to the bedding area up here. So yeah, the deer are definitely using this right now. I'm bedding in here at night, I'm sure. You can see lots of deer beds. Boy, all kinds of them. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 beds just right in this one spot. I like having that branch to duck under. So they use those canopied areas all year round. This area is, let's see, when did I think I first started cutting in here 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And one of the first hinge cuts I ever did, I hinge cut a lot of ironwood, and you can see they died. It's all right, they're still, it's such a hard wood, it takes a while for it to rot away. So they're still providing some structure to the bedding area. Boy, they're in here heavy. There's beds tucked up. I edge feathered this whole area. There's beds tucked up all over, just along the path here. I can see a bunch of them. So they're clearly bedding right up next to the food. I'm gonna cut down this way, see what it looks like. So yeah, about a 5-year-old hinge cut, and you can see, like, the deer, I got a good hole punched in the canopy, but I still haven't got great regrowth yet, because the deer do a heck of a job resetting that growth every single winter. There's a perfect bed, nice high spot here. But they are in here every winter, and they are resetting all this. You look at all these young trees and shrubs, they're all sawed off. So it's almost like guys that run fire through their timber every few years, just trying to set back that regrowth and get the forbs and stuff going. It's more of a practice probably in the Midwest and South, but they do that because they want to keep that food down at the deer's level. Well, that's what the deer do for me every winter. So I mean, there's not tons of regrowth because they're sawing off everything in here. So it'll be interesting to see. We did some aggressive logging. I'll be curious to see if, as a result of that logging and all the new growth we're going to get next summer, if this area actually finally has a chance to kind of get up and have tall enough growth that it's actually providing some structure, like bedding structure. Of course, there's going to be a point where it outgrows its benefit. Oh, I almost took a digger. Where it outgrows its benefit, and when it reaches that point, I'll have to come back in and do some sawing again, but 5 years in, I'm nowhere close. So some of these ironwoods, I mean, they did stay alive. A few of them did. A lot of them died. I mean, so you can hinge them if you want. We have so many, I tend to just cut them down more now than I hinge them, but it's up to you. They make a nice hinge. They just they tend to not stay alive. I got a nice little trail cutting up that way. So with this bedding area, I do what I like to do in all my bedding areas: keep them nice and open, keep it easy for the deer to move around. You can see, I mean, wherever there's an opening, the deer are taking it. I didn't do a lot of canopied beds in this one, more of that side cover type thing. And you can see this time of year they're just passing through. Not even a ton of nighttime bedding besides for right away and up against the food. But a lot of traffic just cutting through here. I'm sure they're coming in to eat some of their woody browse and move back out to the food. Okay, here's a spot where you would think there'd be beds because it's a high point, and sure enough, now the sun's kind of at a bad angle, but there's a deer bed right there. Here's some nice deer beds. One right there, one right there. This is an area where we've seen deer bed before during the season. So they logged all the way around out here, so that should all blow up. I'll be coming back in, I'm sure, and adding to this bedding area. Knock down some of the stuff that got left after logging. It's just junk. It's a lot of basswood and some elm. But I'll be knocking some of that back just to add a little bit more to this bedding area. But this has been a good one. I mean, there's quite a few deer that pour out of this one during season. We hunt the top part of the ridge and the bottom, but we'll see the deer coming out of here quite a bit throughout the season. They like it during the rut and they like it early season. Here's one thing I did in here too. You can see got some young spruce trees kind of scattered throughout this bedding area. There's one right here. So the reason I put those in there is to add a little bit of bedding structure. I mean, when you start walking areas, especially during the rut, kind of maybe a little bit after the rut, and you find those isolated conifers, boy, the deer sure seem to key in on those as far as bedding structure. I wouldn't want a thick stand of conifers where it's a monoculture, but to add a few of those into here to get a little bit of diversity. Oh, there's another one. Well, they all did real well. There's one right there. Add a little diversity, add a little bedding structure. They can be a real nice addition to any bedding area. So I think I probably scattered 50 or 100 of them kind of throughout this bedding area. Just use the old dibble bar, pounding them in. There's another one right there. So yeah, those were either white or Norway spruce. I like either or. That's that. That's a little postseason wrap up on this one. Looks like deer are active in here right now, but it definitely looks like I need to get a few more trees down too. So chainsaw will be busy this, well, probably not so much this winter, but when I'm off this summer, I'll be getting back at it. All right, y'all, take care. God bless.